Welcome to ASTG classes, and in today's class we will start with the topic of for loop, a very vital topic for class 11 and 12 respect. And not only to class 11 and 12 respect, if you opt computer science as your subject in BTech or PSC or BCA, then definitely at that moment you will going to hit up with this particular topic. So concept of this particular topic is quite important. Okay, so without wasting time, let's move to the topic. So in our previous video, we have understood range function, how that range function evaluates. Now it's time to use that range function in for loop, and how that range function works. We will going to see that particular thing. So let's start with the topic of structure of the for loop, means how we can write a for loop in Python. Okay, the main difference in every programming language is that the way of writing, the syntax of writing this for loop, but the concepts remains the same. So if you are conceptually strong, then you can switch to any of the programming language. Okay, so the concepts are the core funda. Okay, so try to understand each and every top points or concepts. Okay, and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me on the comment section. I will definitely try to rectify it or correct it. Okay, or clear it. Fine. Now, how to write a for loop in Python. So the first and the foremost thing is to use the keyword for. Okay, for. Then after that we need to use a variable. A variable name is needed. Variable name. Okay, variable name. After that we need to use that variable name will be followed by a keyword in. Okay, so membership operator. Fine. And after that membership operator will be followed by a sequence data type. Guys, sequence data type. And that particular sequence data type will be followed by a colon. Okay, by a colon. Why? Because we have understood compound statement. So in case of compound statement, we have a header. That particular thing is playing as a role of the header. Now within the, and after that we have the body of the for loop. Body of the for loop. Fine, simple. Now let's understand each and every part. Now, variable. So we need to first write the variable, the keyword for, which will actually indicate the interpreter, or it will hit the interpreter that a loop will going to start. And what type of loop? It's a for loop. Fine, this much is clear. Now what is this variable indicating? This variable will is nothing, just a valid identifier. It can be anything, it can be any valid identifier. Okay, but conventionally we use I or J or K conventionally, but it's not mandatory to use I, J, K. You can use any valid identifier. Fine. Now that particular variable is followed by a keyword in. Fine. This particular in is playing. So what is this in keyword or in operator? It's a membership operator. We have understood membership operator in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, please have a look into it. But as of now, let's understand here. So this particular, so what is this? This one is a membership operator. Fine, membership operator. Now what this membership operator will do, it will help, try to understand, it will help this particular variable to pick each and every element from the sequence data type. Now the point is, what is a sequence data type? Where indexing lies, or where we can use a loop. Those things are sequence data type. And what are those sequence data type? Sequence data type are string, okay, string, then list, tuple, dictionary. Fine. So in your case, it's string, tuple, list, dictionary. Fine. And we will discuss all this particular topic. You have a chapter, a whole chapter dedicated for all these topics. Okay, so not a word, not any pressure, we will discuss it. Now we have understood range function. We can use that range function too. Why? Because it gives a list of numbers. Fine, clear? Now I hope this much is clear to you. So this is the way to write a for loop. Okay, this is the way to write a for loop. So first we need to use the keyword for. Fine, this much is okay. That particular keyword for will be followed by a variable name. That variable name can be anything. By convention we use IJK. By convention we use IJK. Fine. Then we have in operator, that is we call as membership operator. Clear? And that membership operator is followed by a sequence data type, and it can be anything: string, tuple, list, dictionary. Okay. Now, and after that we have colon. So the ending one is the colon, and then after we have a indentation, and that particular indentation is automatically done by the compiler. So we don't need to think any thing about the indentation. But while writing codes in your answer script or wherever it be, so whenever you are writing code on your notebook, please try to maintain that indentation. Clear? Fine. So in today's class, I am planning to write a few programs. A few, no, only one program. Sorry, not few. Few I will try to write in upcoming videos. Why? Because today we will try to understand the concept of this for loop only. That's my main funda and nothing else. And the program which we are going to write is to find even numbers, okay, from a set of numbers, a range of numbers. Fine, clear? Simple program, not a very complex one. But the point is, we need to understand the concepts. The concepts of what? The concepts of for loop. Clear? Fine. Now see, let's see how this particular for loop is working. Okay, let's see. So let me write a for loop using a range function. So in this particular video, we will be using range function only. Why? Because we don't have any knowledge about list, we don't have any knowledge about string, tuple, and for dictionary also. So I will definitely write those code, means the code of for loop using those things when we will be learning that topics: list, tuple, dictionary, okay, string. But as of now, since we have completed range function in our previous video, we have completed range function, so it's a good time to start with the range function. So we will use range function in our for loop as of now. I hope this much is clear to you. Okay, now, okay, so the code which I will be going to write is it will print 10 numbers. Okay, it will print 10 numbers from 1 to 10. One approach is simply write 10 print statement which will print 1 to 10. Okay, something like print 1, print 2, print 3, dot up to print 10. See, this particular code will also write the same thing. It will print numbers from 1 to 10. Now suppose if I want to print numbers from 1 to 100, then in that case I will be having 100 print statement. Will that be an efficient code? The answer is no. In that case, the best approach is to use for loop, and that's why we have introduced this loop. What is this loop? Repeating a same statement for a certain number of time. Repeating same statement for a certain number of time. So I am repeating a statement print for a certain number of time. In this case, it will be printed. It will be executed for 10 number of times. Fine. This much is clear. Now, okay, fine. Okay, so what I'm planning, I will write the code. Then after that I will explain you how this particular code is working. The important point is to understand it's working. Why? Because you will be getting lots and lots of output type of questions using for loop and while loop. So the important thing is that you need to understand that how this loop is working. Okay, you can get its output while writing the code on your computer, but the main point is that you need to think like a computer while any code is given to you and during the time of exam. So your brain need to work like a compiler or an interpreter. So it's the important point is that you need to understand it's working. So I will be explaining that particular thing, and if you face any doubt, feel free to ask me on the comment section. Okay, so fine, let me write the code. So the code is for I in range 5 print I. Fine. Now this particular code will print number from 0 to 4, but how, that we will going to see. So in order to understand a loop, any loop, the best way is to see each and every execution, or you can say is the best way is to write each and every steps of this for loop. So in case of for loop, we use the term iterations. So this particular, I have used the term step. So you can use the term iteration too. So both are same things. So iteration. Fine. Anything. So in this class, I am using step or iteration. Both will mean the same thing. Okay. So don't get confused by the term step or iterations. Okay. Now first and the foremost thing is to evaluate this range function. Suppose if you get this type of question, the first and the foremost step is to evaluate the range function, and we have understood how a range function executes, how we get numbers from a range function. So we have understood all those things in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, it's my request, please have a watch to that video, because it's not possible to discuss the same topic again in this video. So that in that case, then this particular video will be a lengthy one. Okay, so if you haven't watched, please have a watch to that particular video, range function. Okay, now in order to execute a for loop, the first and the foremost step is to find out the elements which are there in the sequence data type. So this particular range function in this case will going to give me numbers from 0 to 4. So first we need to find out the numbers which we will get from the range function. So in this case the numbers are from 0 to 4. Okay, let me write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. How 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are coming? If that has already been explained in the last video. So please guys have a look to that video. Okay, so first step is to execute the range function. Means or in other words, we can say first you need to find what are the elements exist within the range function, within the sequence data type. So in this case the range function is giving me a list of numbers, and in this case it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fine, this much is okay. Now let's execute the step 1. Okay, in this case the name of the variable is what? It's I. Okay, in this case the name of the variable is I. Fine, in this case the name of the variable is I. Now what I will do, what I have told you, that in it's what? It's a membership operator, and what does this I do? It picks up one element from the sequence data type, at one element at a time. One element from the sequence data type. So it picks up one element from the sequence data type at a time. So first it will pick up 0. So the value of I is what? In step 1 is 0. Clear? Fine. So after that we will move to the body. We will move into the body of the for loop, and in this case it's a print statement. It will simply print. Okay, so let me print 0. Okay, so within the body it's a print I, so it will print 0. Now after that it will move to step 2. Done with the first element. Now the variable, this particular variable I, will now pick up the second element from the sequence data type. And what is the second element? The second element is 1. So in this case I is equals to 1. Then again it will move into the body of the for loop, and within the body we have a print statement. See what I have told you. Loops are basically used to print the same statement for a certain number of times, and it is printing the same statement. And how many times it will print? It will print 5 times. Clear? So print I. So in this case it will print 1. So 1. I am here writing the output. Okay, I am here writing the output. Clear? Now after completing step 2, it will move to step 3. Why? Because we have still elements within the range function within this particular list. So it will now pick up element 2 from this range of numbers. So in step 3 the value of I will be 2, and it will print its value. So 2. Fine. Clear? Sorry. Now after that we will going to see, do we have any elements exist within this list of numbers? Yes, we have. So step 4 will get executed, and in this case the value of I will be 3. Clear? And again it's a print statement, so it will print 3. Done. Now again we will see, is there any element exist within this list of numbers? And yes, we do have an element, and that particular element is 4. So it will pick up 4, and it will lead to the execution of step 5 or iteration 5, anything whatever you want you can say. So I equals to 4, and again it will print I. So 3, and after that 4, and this one is the set of output. and this one is the execution. If you are able to execute each and every step on your notebook, then definitely you will be you will get to understand how for loop works. This is a very simple loop. Okay, it's not a very you can say a complicated one. You will be getting a complicated type of questions during your time of exams. Okay, so that at that time you need, if you are able to execute it in your notebook step by step, then definitely you will be able to understand it. The best part about this for loop is that, see, the statements are fixed. The body of the for loop is fixed. Okay, so what it will do, it will try to print the or in this case it is printing, but the point is it is repeating the same statement for a certain number of times. So if we get an idea that what this particular for loop is going to do, then definitely we don't need to execute each and every step. Why? Because we get an intuition of what this particular function is going, what this particular for loop is going to do, and we will try to execute it as per that. Okay, since it's a very first class, so I have executed each and every step. But with more and more practice, you don't need to write all these things. You can execute it on your brain. So within your brain you will be able to execute it. Then that's what I want actually. Okay, otherwise if you spend more than 5 minutes to this particular type of questions, then you won't be able to complete your answer script. Okay, so it's very much important to execute with your own brain, but for that first you need to write all the steps within a notebook, and that's the only thing, that's the only approach, and nothing else exists. So in order to understand for loop, you need to write it like this initially, and with lots and lots of practice, then these things are just a waste of time. But initially you need to do it in this manner only. I hope you have understood for loop, the way how it's working, or what this want to explain. Okay, now the since I've told you that I will be going to write a program which will definitely print even numbers from a set of numbers. Okay, that particular code I will going to write. But the point is, have you understand this? Please try to please give me your answer on within the comment section if you understood this particular topic. Okay, now I hope this much is okay. Now it's time to move to our practical class. Why? Because without practical, this subject is nothing. So in order to understand this subject, you need lots and lots of practice. Okay, practical practice. It's not a theoretical subject. No, it's a conceptual subject, and in order to build concepts, you need practice. Practical practice. Okay, fine. And yes, let's move. Okay, guys, let's start our practical class. Okay. So we have understood the for loop, its way of writing, and we have also executed one code during the time of theory. Okay, and we have understood how this code is giving this type of output. Now I will write that particular code only and see the output in computer and nothing else. But explanation was already been done during the time of theory. So if you haven't understood, feel free to ask me. I will definitely try to clarify your doubts. Not a problem at all. But the point is, please don't have any doubt to yourself. Okay, so see 0 1 2 3 4. I hope this much is clear to you. So how this 0 1 2 3 4 is coming, I hope this time it's clear to you. But now we will going to see the code for even numbers. So what I will going to do is to take the start and the end for the range of numbers, and from that range of numbers I will going to check whether that number is an even number or not. If it's an even number, then I will print that particular number. So let me write the code for it. So let me create a variable start. This would be the start of the range of numbers. So int input enter start number. Okay, then let me create another variable end number. Okay, enter end number. Fine. Now let me write the for loop. For I in range. So the range will start from the start variable and it will end up to the end variable. Fine. Now how we will check a number is an even number or an odd number? And it's quite simple, that if a number is divisible by 2, then it's an even number, otherwise it's an odd number. The same thing we will be writing here also, but we need to write it as per the language. Okay, so the first thing is that how we will means which operator helps us in the checking of divisibility. If a number means how do we get to know that if a number is divisible? If the remainder is 0, so which operator helps us to find the remainder? It's the modulus operator. So in this case I will be using the modulus operator. Fine. And since we only want to check whether that we want to check that number is a even number or not, so for that we will going to use conditional statement. But which one? If conditional statement. So if I, now what this I will going to hold? It will hold one element at a time. Already been explained that first range function will get execute. Range function will gives us the range of numbers, and what I will going to do, it will pick up one element from that range function at a time. So if I modulus 2 double equals to 0, why double equals to 0 indicates when that number is divisible by 2. If that number is divisible by 2, then in that case what I will going to do, I will simply print I. But I want that numbers to be horizontally printed or side by side. So fine, and the code is done. Let me execute it. See, it's asking me for the first number, so let me start it from 1 and let me end it at 10. So the even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8. Quite simple. Now if the question asks you to print odd numbers, then in that case what I will going to do, if I mod 2 not equals to 0, simple, then in that case it will print odd numbers 1, 10. See, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Quite simple, easy, very easy. So that's all. But the point is, the code which I have shown is a very simple code. You will be going to see a very complex type of codes in your books, but I will try to solve some of them. It's not possible to solve each and every one. The main point, guys, the main point which lies in case of language is the logic creation. If you are able to create logics, then you would be able to write any of the code you want. Okay, so for logic creation, the important thing is that you need to first create the logics on your notebook. So try to make drawings, flowcharts, whatever you want, but try to build logics by your own self. If you are able to do it, then no one going to stop you. No one would be able to stop you. Okay, so it's my request, first try to find the logic. Now the point is how it's something like a kind of a mystery is being given to you. Just try to think that how means what are the possibilities are there, something like that. Okay, so in that manner only we would be able to write logics. So same for this particular question. I want to check whether a number is even or odd. So for that, what is the condition? The condition is that number should be divisible by 2 or by 2 if I want the even numbers, or else should not be divisible by 2. Simple. So the conditions means this is the thing that how we will get to do need to be understand. Okay, so logic creation is the quite important thing, and if you want but not a problem at all, I will definitely try to upload more and more type of practical questions from for loops, while loops. So at that time I will help you to make yourself more clear with the logics. Okay, so it's quite easy, not a very complex thing. Computer science is a very very easy subject. Okay, it's a very easy subject. Just the only thing which is required in this case is to have a clear concept and nothing else. You don't need to remember anything. Like in case of chemistry, you need to remember a lots of formulas, but in this case you don't need to remember anything. The only thing which is required in this case is to have a correct conceptual understanding of the topics, nothing else. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you have understood my video, you have enjoyed my my lecture, and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me, and let's meet you with a new topic in the next video. Thank you very much.